Here are scenes from tonight's exciting episode.
Mid-South suspect's more sinister past involving the murders of two teenage girls.
That gave me chills right there. That gave me chills. I don't get chills a lot, but that did.
Haunted Encounter Adventures presents Hauntings in Gleeson, Arizona. Ghost Town Murder.
Welcome back to another Haunted Encounter Adventures episode. Tonight, we travel out to Gleeson, Arizona to explore Gleeson's haunted ghost town and to investigate a double murder of two young girls that took place there. This episode you don't want to miss, so grab your favorite drink, find your favorite munchies, grab your comfy chair, and let's get started on another great Haunted Encounter Adventures episode. Our first stop, we explore an old ruin of the Cortland, Arizona jail. Let's get started. The town of Gleeson settled as a mining camp called Turquoise after the mineral that was mined by the Native Americans. In 1894, John Gleeson opened up a copper claim and the town of Gleeson was created. From 1900 through the mid-1920s, Gleeson thrived and swelled to over 1,000 people. A huge school was built and there was a hospital, a theater, and dozens of restaurants and bars. There's not much left after the Gleeson post office shut down in 1939. But our friend Joe Bono, one of the original Gleeson residents, has restored the original jail and has turned it into a museum. We will meet Joe and hear the history of this now ghost town a little later in the episode. Here is Gleeson's third jail that Joe has restored. We will take a look inside a little later and see if we can pick up any ghost activities with our ghost equipment. So make sure you stay tuned in this program. Here's what it looked like in 1910. Always make sure you have plenty of gas while driving in the desert, or you will end up like these poor folks. Here are the remains of Gleeson School. There used to be an arc that spanned across the two pillars, but it collapsed in the 1980s. Some say children can sometimes still be heard playing in the playground. Here are the ruins of Gleeson's Hospital. And here's what it looked like in 1906. By 1930s, the hospital was in disrepair, and other businesses had dwindled to only a handful. Ranching had become primary occupation, and in 1945 the school closed and its students merged into Tombstone School District. This is what's left of the hospital. Here is what's left from Gleeson's store and bar. Here is Gleeson's old warehouse. Two teenage girls were murdered here in Gleeson, and we will be investigating that horrific incident a little later in this program. But for now, let's take a peek inside Gleeson's third jail that has been turned into a museum and talk with its owner on the history of Gleeson, Joe Bono.
My name is Joe Bono. I was born and raised here. My parents had the store saloon across the ways. I grew up here back in the, well, I was born in 48, and we lived here till the 50s. We didn't have running water and electricity at the time. Bisbee had opened up, and a lot of miners had moved to Bisbee. So it became like a ghost town. There was only 12 of us living here at the time. And my dad didn't know what to do, so he just put a lock on the store and we moved to Tombstone. My older sister was living in Tombstone, so that's why we moved there. And then we followed her to Douglas. But we always came back here. My uncle's buried in the cemetery, so I passed by and take care of the cemetery. One time I saw the for sale sign. So I had to turn around and come back, and get the phone number. And I called the lady, and she asked me, I said, and I told her what my name was. She said, "Are you one of the original from the Bono family that lived here?" And I said, "Yes." She said, "We gotta talk." So she had this place for sale, and I just wanted to come back. A lot of memories. My wife had passed away, and I didn't know what to do. So I came back and started fixing this place up. My dad had a lot of this stuff in the store, and I just had it in storage. So I said, well, I knew this place was open and everything, and I bought it. So I said, I'll make a little museum and tell a little history. It was one of the third jail here in Gleeson. The first one was at the Oak Tree down there. They used to tie the prisoners.
Oh, yeah.
And then they built a wooden one, which was right here in front, but it had a tin roof. And the prisoners would push up on the tin roof and escape.
Oh, jeez.
This place was getting real rowdy. They couldn't carry weapons in Tombstone, so they were coming down here. Gambling, there was all kinds of stuff. There was a Chinese restaurant. movie theater. My dad had the store saloon, and it was a big place at the time. You know, people would come down here and love it. They'd come from Wilcox, Douglas, Elfrida, Bisbee, and all the dances took place over here in my dad's store. And then when this place came open, this was my playhouse actually growing up. It closed down, and we used to come play Cowboys and Indians, so it brought a lot of memories to me.
Sure, yeah.
Hippies moved in here in the 60s, 70s, and they took over the place. They were living here for free in the jail. You know?
Oh my God.
So it's had a lot of history. Cochise was held here one night. When they brought him out of the Chiricahuas, they were taking him to Tombstone, Tom Jeffers, and they couldn't travel that far in those days in a horseback.
Oh, sure.
So they held him here one night. Cochise spent the night here. And it's got a lot of history, a lot of Western history. Pancho used to ride through here, you know. All the Apache Indians would take over, and
oh, wow.
This bed is from the Buffalo Soldiers. They used to come and patrol the area, and a lot of people coming through, traveling, and I've always enjoyed it coming through here, you know. And I've seen some weird stuff, but to me it was all normal, like everyday thing.
And you think this place is haunted? What makes it? Any experiences?
To me, it was normal, but sometimes, now that I think about it and I've talked to John, you know, it's some of the things that have happened. I said, well, you know, that wasn't normal.
Like what?
Sometimes I see people here. My daughter has, we call him the Whistler. He whistles at women, girls.
Okay.
He gives them the wolf whistle. My daughter's turned around, you know, looked around and said, Dad, somebody gave me the wolf whistle. It's the Whistler, the first weekend of the month, and they come down and people just enjoy coming and seeing.
Yeah, it's great here. You did a great job putting everything together. It's just beautiful.
And I try to relate to the families because they were the pioneers that originally, you know, started this. My dad came from Italy, my mom from Mexico, and they met here in Gleeson actually at a dance. And
cool.
they made a living. Like I said, we didn't have electricity or running water, but we didn't know the difference.
Right, absolutely.
We didn't know the difference.
Did anybody die in here or on the outskirts of this property?
Yes, they have had quite a few people murdered, killed, unsolved mysteries.
Any names that you can think of?
Well, the only ones I can think of, the girls, of course. At the trailer, Nacho Valdez up there at the house, he shot his wife, thought he had killed her. He turned the gun and killed himself. She lived, but he died.
Oh, that's good. And what about the trailer? What's the history on that?
Back in 1990, Elfrida was celebrating the 4th of July, and we call him Bigfoot. He lived in the trailer over there. Him and a friend of his went to Elfrida and picked up these two girls and got them drunk, brought them up here, violated them, and killed them and threw them in one of the mines.
Oh my God.
And I got pictures of him, as a matter of fact. The day before he killed the girls, this friend of mine, she used to know him, and they were cowboy reenactments. She was with him and she took pictures of him. One of them, as a matter of fact, is him being hung.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, is there any way we can get that photograph?
Yeah, I got him in my RV.
Okay, cool.
I can bring him over.
Yeah, that'd be great. Awesome. I can take a photograph of that real quick.
Yeah, no problem. I got a couple of pictures of him. One of them, like I said, is him being hung, and then the other ones are with the rest of the friends. Mm-hmm. And he was, the younger guy turned state evidence against him got 20 years. He got death penalty. The younger guy was released maybe, I don't know, 5 years ago. But the mother lived in Elfrida, one of the girls, and she said if he ever came back, she didn't have nothing to lose.
Right.
And he was executed in Florence. And the lady I talked to, she said she'd talk to him, she'd go up and visit him in Florence, and every night he said he'd hear the girl screaming.
Yeah.
So his name is Richard Stokely, and I think he was killed in 2012, but in Florence. Yeah.
Florence.
And
Yeah,
who was the one that was hung?
Him.
Okay, so they hung him.
No. It was a reenactment.
Oh, okay.
I have a picture of him in a reenactment where he was.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Putting a noose on. I'll show it to you.
Oh, okay, okay. So it wasn't actually his hanging; it was just him playing. Right?
Oh, these are this is the people, all the friends, the day before they kill the girl. Bigfoot is him with a marshal badge. This is my friend. She knew him real well. And the other ones, I think one of them was her husband. I'm not sure which one. I think it might have been him. But they did reenactments, cowboy reenactments and stuff in Tombstone and Elfrida. And
Okay. That's him again.
Yeah, that's him in the middle. They were doing a reenactment of hanging.
Yeah, he kind of looks scary.
Yes.
He's a bouncer in Big Nose Cake's in Tombstone.
Oh, okay.
What happened, he was married, and I guess he'd get drunk or something, and his wife had had enough of him and hit him over the head with a frying pan. So he was never really here.
Right, okay.
And that's what happened to him. The younger guy, I heard he had moved to Arkansas. I don't remember his name, but he fell in the shower and cracked his head and died.
Oh.
So,
Wow.
and that was in the 1990s. I think you can still look it up in the computer.
Okay.
It was a very strange,
Yeah.
killing, and the girls are actually buried in, not in Elfrida. She didn't want to bury him in Elfrida, but the town further down, it's a very small town, and the daughter was buried there.
Real quick about the store, wasn't a gentleman shot in the store? He was trying to steal something? I can't remember the story.
My parents used to rent the store out to other people, and they had a bar. And one time, this gentleman from Wilcox used to come up and he'd drink quite a bit. This time he was very drunk, and the bartender stopped him. They said, "No, we're not going to give you any more. We know you live in Wilcox." So what he did, he spat in her face. She had a pistol behind the bar. She pulled the pistol out, shot him point blank, killed him. And he was the one that was killed in the store.
Okay. Dang.
Now, do you know what the building next to the store was? I can't recall what it used to be. There's some rubble or ruins next to the store.
The cement basement. That was a warehouse, B.A. Taylor warehouse. They think when the fire started here in 1928, something like that, where all the buildings burned down, they think it started there because back then they didn't have electricity. They used to use candles. That big of a warehouse, somebody had left a candle. If you notice, there's window notches. They had left a candle in the window notch, and the wind was blowing like it always blows here, and the curtain caught on fire and burned the whole building down.
Damn.
So that's why you only see the basement there. So,
Now, as for the jailing tree, has there been any hangings or any lynchings on that tree at all? Do you know?
there was back, I wasn't born, what had happened, they had robbed a payroll in Douglas, and the robbers had come up on horseback in the hospital, or the old hospital. They spent the night there, and the posse caught up to them in the morning, and what happened, they couldn't find the money, the payroll, so they think that the payroll was buried around the hospital. That's why people usually used to go down with shovels and see if they could find, but I always say, was it paper or was it coins, you know? And they were caught and hung in the morning by the posse. But I always have a theory, because my brother-in-law, Robert Anaya, when he was going to school here, he found a $5 gold piece.
Oh, wow.
At the school. And I said, you know, maybe they mistake the hospital for the school. And he found a $5 gold piece on the playground. Well, when he went in to tell the teacher, she told him, well, I'll give you 5 ones for your gold piece. 1 piece. So he always used to tell the story, you know, he could kick himself because he did that. A $5 gold piece, you know, right now is worth some bucks.
Sure it is, yeah.
So the school is always, I hear kids playing over there sometimes. You know, it's dead of night. And of course, there's no kids there.
Sure, right.
So it's got some stories to it. Like I said, I always just thought it was just something normal for me, you know, but then to hear kids, some of their playing,
That's not normal, yeah.
You know, one time I seen lights down by the hanging tree, and I was sitting right there by the Ramada, and I'm looking, and I called my neighbor, and I asked him, I said, do you see any lights down there by the hanging tree or anything? And he said, no, you know, and to me, I could see them. So I went, got my shotgun out of the RV and it sat out there, and I said, oh, okay, I don't know what that is, but, you know.
Yeah.
So that's some of the stories, you know, that go around, and
Great, that's awesome.
yeah.
Thank you so much.
No, I appreciate you guys coming up, and you know, at least it livens it up at night. And it's whatever I can do to make it any better for you.
Cool, I appreciate that. Thank you so much.
Now it's time to do some ghost hunting. We first will start off here in this Gleeson jail. We will be using our structured light sensor camera to see if we can find any unrested spirits that still lingers within this haunted jail. Then go on to use the spirit box to see if they will talk with us. Let's get hunting. It didn't take long as the SLS camera picks up these 2 ghost apparitions in the front room of the jail. I was amazed on what I was seeing, and then 2 appeared in front of me. They were floating in front of me, and then one moved. They then started to float up. The other ones soon joined him. Now they look like giants. I stood there and watched them until they finally disappeared. Now let's see if they will talk with us.
Is anybody here who'd like to talk with us? Hello, who are you? Who's here? Hello?
I'm shut.
What is your name? Can you tell me what happened?
On 4th of July weekend in 1991, two 13-year-old girls, Mary and Mandy, attended a community celebration near Alfreda, Arizona. Mary and Mandy, along with other kids, camped out at the celebration site on July 7th. Randy, age 20, showed up at the campsite. Randy had once dated Mandy's older sister and knew Mandy. During the evening, Randy went to the girls' tent to talk with Mary and Mandy. The girls were also seen standing next to Randy's car, who had Richard inside of it. Around 1 a.m. on July 8, 1991, the girls told some friends that they were going to the restroom, and then never returned. Randy and Richard had taken the girls, raped and murdered them, then threw their bodies down an abandoned mine shaft not far away from Richard's trailer home. The next morning, Randy turned himself in and named Richard was his accomplice with the rape and murder of the two girls. Randy showed the authorities where they could find the girls, leading them to the mine shaft. The police discovered the naked girls at the bottom of the 100-foot mine shaft. Both girls had internal and external marks on their necks, and Mandy had stomp marks on her body and chest that matched Richard's boot. Evidence was found that each victim was killed by a different person. Richard had killed Mandy, while Randy had killed Mary. Both girls were stomped on and strangled, both being stabbed in the right eye. Richard was sent to death and was executed by lethal injection in 2012, while Randy, because of mud contaminating the DNA evidence, was sentenced to 20 years, then was released on parole until this happened.
Now on to this. Relieving himself on a government building exposed this Mid-South suspect's more sinister past involving the murders of two teenage girls. Good evening, I'm Joe Birch.
I'm Ursula Madden. The brutal killings happened decades ago in Alfreda, Arizona, near Tucson, but details did not come to light until a bizarre crime in Crittenden County, Arkansas. WMC Action News 5 investigator Jason Miles live tonight with exclusive details. Jason.
Well, at last check, the suspect was still locked up across the river in the Crittenden County Jail on misdemeanor charges as his more violent criminal past comes to light. A call to deputies last week from tiny Horseshoe Lake sounded comical at first.
Somebody was publicly urinating on the front door of the city hall.
But allegedly exposing himself also exposed 42-year-old Randy Brazil's criminal history.
Come to find out that this guy has a brutal history in his past.
It centers around the 1991 murders near Tucson, Arizona of two 13-year-old girls who were raped, stabbed to death, then dumped down an abandoned mine shaft. An accomplice got the death penalty while Brazil copped a plea to second-degree murder. DNA evidence that later tied him to the crime was never used in a trial, so he avoided sex offender status.
So when he was let out, he was basically a free man, was not obligated to notify anybody or tell anybody where he was going or where he was living.
According to Crittenden County officials, Brazil's 20-year sentence was up in 2011, but they're unsure how long he's been in Horseshoe Lake.
I haven't heard all of those details, but the more I hear, I'm very uncomfortable, especially for my child.
Parents point to the playground that sits right next door to City Hall.
Maybe some small town justice needs to take place, but we don't like that. We don't want that here.
Is this the kind of person you'd like to know is in your community?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we would very much like to know that.
I actually spoke with Randy Brazil's sister tonight, who reiterated he did his time and is not a registered sex offender, so he doesn't have to report that status. Meantime, she says, in her opinion, the community has nothing to worry about. Reporting live tonight, Jason Miles, WMC Action News 5.
A few years later, Randy was found dead in his shower by a apparent slip, and it cracked his skull. But was it a simple slip, or was it homegrown justice, as the woman had said in the news report?
Now let's see if the victims and the killers will talk with us. Joining us in tonight's seance is Haunted Encounter Adventures Pam and witness Gabriel. Who's with us? You can talk with us. Yes, we are talking to you. What happened here? Don't be shy. Who's here? What happened to you? Did you die in this trailer? Answer me. No. No? Did you die in prison?
Do you not like us being here? Is it making you mad because we're here? Is it okay if we talk to you? My name's Pam. My name's Pam. What's yours? Are you a female? How old are you?
It's a female.
Yeah, but it was a man's voice.
Yeah. I think it's that guy that's here still.
The
guy that killed
Richard Stokely person?
the guy that killed the two girls. That's who it is. Yes, see? What happened? Talk to us. Is this Richard? No. Who is this then? Is this the girls? Then what happens next made us excited.
Can you knock on something?
Then I heard something behind me in the kitchen. When I replayed the video and turned up the volume, I could hear knocking and a strange voice.
Who made that noise?
Can you knock again?
I then heard scratching behind me, and the spirit box seemed to have a knocking sound.
What is your name?
What happened?
I heard a footstep over there.
Yeah, I thought I heard something too. Yeah.
We then heard footsteps walking down the hallway.
Is someone in the hallway?
What the hell?
When Mandy says, "Look here," Pam notices something moving.
Something right there moved. Video? Yes, we're doing video.
Is someone back there?
Yes.
Do you know what month it is? Do you know?
July was the month when the murders took place.
I heard something back there again just now. I heard something when I walked back there, and I said I ain't got the balls to open that door because I heard something back there.
Is someone in that back room?
Be gone.
That didn't. I was gonna say that didn't tell us to get out, did it? Do you want us to leave? Why do you want us to leave? Can you knock on the wall like that?
Break it. Break it. Okay, we're gonna go now. Goodbye. Goodbye. Dude, that was trippy. That gave me chills right there. That gave me chills. I don't get chills a lot, but that did.
Why do they keep knocking through it?
I don't know. That's a good
Yeah,
question.
I don't know.
And I kept hearing footsteps over there and
Yeah.
was scratching in the kitchen.
Yeah, I heard the scratching in the kitchen.
Yup. Dang, that was trippy, dude.
He kept answering for the girls. Like when you asked him, when you asked, is it a female that's speaking? He said female, but in his voice. You can tell
it
it's
was
a
in
male's
his
voice.
It was in a man's voice.
Yeah, what else did you feel in here? What else happened?
And it just felt like that every time when we would try to speak to the girls, he wouldn't let them, or I don't know, because every time when he would speak, or we would try to speak to the girls, they would scream.
Yeah, there did hear some screaming in there.
They would scream. And then there was multiple times where he would tell us to leave.
Yeah. Yep, he did. He did tell us to leave.
And then I kept hearing the footsteps down in the hallway.
Yeah, so did I. I heard footsteps. And then the banging in the kitchen, that was crazy.
Yeah.
That was a good one, man.
Thank you for watching another Haunted Encounter Adventures episode. Special thanks to Joe Bono. Make sure you subscribe, like, and share. We will see you next time on Haunted Encounter Adventure.
Haunted Encounter Adventures.
Who's here?